This is very much about veterans, and it shouldn't be a party-based issue, in my opinion. Yeah.
So you don't see this rally as like an anti-Trump or anti-administration rally? This
Well,
is
it can be anti-administration as long as he remains anti-veteran.
And you see Donald Trump in this moment as
very much as anti-veteran.
As Donald Trump and his administration continue to light millions upon millions of taxpayer dollars on fire, veterans are speaking out not only against the waste, but what that waste could have been used for instead.
I hear it on the lips of the service providers, the healthcare workers. They're nervous. They're very concerned. They're talking about the cuts. They're talking about the things that they are seeing that this administration is doing. And I've been going to the VA for years, and I've never heard healthcare providers talk politics. And now it's all I can hear about. And if you can look me in the eye and tell me that that's not impacting the quality of care, I just don't think anybody can do that. I wouldn't believe it if they tried. So it's quality of care, it's our benefits, and it's our broader democracy that we're out there protesting for. I'm not sure how one cuts the military and cuts veterans care and think that's actually going to help this country. They recently cut a program that would help veterans and housing. So there's 90,000 veterans that are at risk of losing their home, and this mortgage assistance program could have been funded through the money that is now being spent on the parade.
MSNBC's veteran contributor laid it bare. While Donald Trump preens about parades and militarized PR stunts, basic benefits for the very people who serve this country are being stripped. Housing, health care, job support, cut. This isn't accidental, it's not even subtle, it's insulting, especially to service members used as political props while the administration moves money out of VA programs and into tanks and theatrics. It's a kind of gaslighting that's become all too familiar.
The president warned that any protests on Saturday would be met with force.
We won the war, and we're the only country that didn't celebrate it. And we're going to be celebrating big on Saturday. We're going to have a lot of, and if there's any protester that wants to come out, they will be met with very big force. By the way, for those people that want to protest, they're going to be met with very big force. And I haven't even heard about a protest, but, you know, this is people that hate our country. But they will be met with very heavy force.
Can you clarify what kind of protest President Trump does support or find acceptable?
The president absolutely supports peaceful protests. He supports the First Amendment. He supports the right of Americans to make their voices heard. He does not support violence of any kind. He does not support assaulting law enforcement officers who are simply trying to do their job. It's very clear for the president what he supports and what he does not. Unfortunately for Democrats, that line has not been made clear, and they've allowed this unrest and this violence to continue, and the president has had to step in.
So if there were peaceful protests on Saturday for the military parade, President Trump would allow that?
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question.
And when a reporter dares to ask about Trump's own track record, how he's responded to protests, how his language inflames, not only is the question dodged, it's disrespected. Caroline Levitt flat out dismisses it like it doesn't matter, but it does. Because people are marching for human rights, against government overreach, and for basic dignity. And this administration's instinct isn't to listen, it's to threaten force. Let's be honest, it's not just about this one moment, it's a pattern. From Black Lives Matter to today's protest, the same tactic is repeated. Discredit the messenger, ignore the cause, and pretend this kind of dissent is chaos instead of what it really is. A cry for justice.
I'm struck by the fact that the president has not at any point said the most important thing here is to protect the First Amendment rights of peaceful protesters. So I'm wondering, where in his hierarchy of interests does he place that? Is the First Amendment protection the most important? Is stopping violence most important? Why is he not out saying all peaceful protesters will be protected?
I think two things can be important at the same time. And the president, as I just answered, supports the right of Americans to peacefully protest. He supports the First Amendment. But that is not the majority of the behavior that we have seen taking place in Los Angeles. We have seen mobs of violent rioters and agitators assaulting law enforcement officers, assaulting our federal immigration authorities. And we have seen, as I said, this goes back to what this administration is trying to do and accomplish, and that's enforcing law and order in our nation's communities. And it's removing public safety threats from communities in Los Angeles.
You're saying the majority have not been peaceful, the majority have been violent.
I just read for you the arrest numbers. We've arrested nearly 400 illegal aliens alone, just illegal aliens who have been arrested in these riots since June 6th, since they began.
Thousands of people on the streets.
Yeah, and we've had hundreds of people who have assaulted law enforcement officers. Are you saying that that's that's appropriate behavior?
No,
Are you
no,
saying
I'm not
that
saying
the
that at
president
all. I'm
shouldn't
just
take
trying to
action?
figure out-
The Democrat governor and the Democrat mayor of Los Angeles have failed their citizens. And the majority of Americans, the majority of Californians, do not want to see law enforcement officers being assaulted in the streets. And thankfully, the president took action and stepped in to protect our federal law enforcement agents, to protect federal buildings, to protect the federal mission of deporting illegal criminals off of our streets. And that mission will continue every day as far as we're concerned.
You know, this isn't new. The administration's using the same playbook. Label every protest chaotic, every protester a rioter, just like they did with Black Lives Matter. They're testing what they can get away with, eroding rights in the name of law and order, spreading lies to delegitimize the movement, demonizing voices that call out injustice. That's not leadership, it's authoritarian creep. And again, when it comes to ICE protests, the rhetoric is the same, the playbook is the same. Label, discredit, ignore the actual issue, weaponize the response.
The president said yesterday that paid insurrectionists were behind or involved in the protests in Los Angeles. Does the White House have any more details about who they believe is paying these protesters?
The president spoke about this last night when he returned from Fort Bragg, because frankly the president has a lot of common sense. And if you look at some of the imagery that we have received from the Department of Homeland Security and ICE and law enforcement who are on the ground, you will see boxes and boxes of very professionalized masks and rioting equipment being dropped off for these protesters. So it's a good question the president is raising, and one we are looking into, about who is funding these insurrectionists and these rioters and these protesters and these illegal criminals. Who is funding these illegal aliens who are coming in with this very professional riot gear? It's a question everyone in this room who cares about truth should be asking. And we encourage your help in trying to get to the bottom of that question.
And if all that wasn't enough, look at the money. Trump's sending the National Guard to Los Angeles. He's hijacked an army parade to celebrate his birthday. Do you know how much that costs? Millions. Millions that could be fixing VA hospitals, helping unhoused vets, funding mental health care.
What is the estimated cost of the deployment for the Guard and the Marines to L.A., and where's this funding coming from? Will it be coming from quality of life programs that affect our service members or our families? If you want to wait till I finish.
Before I hand it to
such as updates, housing and barracks.
Before I hand it to Bryn, the insinuation that we're pulling money from housing and barracks in order to fund this is disingenuous and incorrect.
I'm just asking.
Bryn can give you the numbers, absolutely.
So the current estimated cost is $134 million, which is largely just TDY costs, travel, housing, food, et cetera.
Where's it coming from? That's the cost, but where's it coming from?
Out of their O&M accounts.
Yeah, and updated estimates on cost, $50–60 million, perhaps more than that, because the streets of Washington likely going to need to be repaved and fixed, because these tanks, of course, are so heavy.
You're watching the intentional erosion of democracy and the exploitation of public funds to fuel it. And no matter how many fireworks or sound bites they throw at us, people, especially those who've served, are starting to see it.